Hey, what's up everybody? Chris here, and I think people are putting way too much stock in review scores for games. Hey, if you're enjoying the channel, if you like the content, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Please be sure to subscribe so you'll know when more content is on the way. So recently, IGN published its review score for Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, and there was a little bit of pushback on that from the gaming community. When Super Mario 3D World was released on the Wii U originally, it received, I believe, a 9.6 from IGN. Now that the game is making its appearance on the Nintendo Switch and it's bundled with some additional content, a lot of people were confused when they saw the score that the game received is a 7 out of 10. And I can understand a little bit of that confusion, right? How does a game go from being a 9.6 to a 7 when it has more content and potentially slightly better visuals, or at least crisper visuals, given that it's on newer hardware? But honestly, all of that leads to a bigger question that I wanted to try and pose here and get some feedback on. Why do we put so much stock on the number scores that are given to games and even movies for that matter? I think a lot of people, when a review comes out for a big game such as Super Mario 3D World, immediately go straight to the number score, whether it's from an outlet like IGN, whether it's from Game Informer or GameSpot or wherever it may be, just to see what that looks like. And I think a lot of people have sort of an initial reaction to it because either they're big fans of the franchise or they expect a certain outcome, and when that outcome isn't met, they don't know how to respond to that. Now, I think it should be noted that a score of 7 out of 10 is good. It means it's a good game, but it brings up this larger question of why do people care so much about the number? I recently saw in a discussion forum someone posed the suggestion that maybe we should just get rid of number scores altogether and just have written reviews or video reviews and then let people make their own judgments based on that content. And I kind of agree with that, and I know that that's maybe a little bit hypocritical. I've done movie and game reviews on this channel and I've given them number scores, but moving forward I'm thinking that number scores don't really do anybody a whole lot of good. I think if someone can clearly articulate what they really like about a product, whether it's a game or a movie, and then sort of highlight what they think maybe needs some improvement or what they don't like or outright hate, that will be ultimately a little bit more informative than giving people a number that they tend to obsess over or get sort of stuck on and aren't able to therefore sort of discern a little bit more about the content of the product and what the reviewer has to say about it. Now, I don't want to argue that there is no value to numbers, right? I think number scores save people time, and people want to know how to spend their money, effectively, and what's worth sort of investing in. But I think it's also true that a lot of times the number score doesn't really reflect how people feel about a product once they finally actually try it out, again, whether it's a game or a movie. And again, reviews are subjective, right? They're based on the opinion of the reviewer or the person testing that product or looking into that product, whatever it may be. As the years have gone on, I've sort of come to the conclusion that even though there is maybe some merit to having a number score associated with a piece of media, it's not going to, of course, always be representative of how I feel about it. And so what I would argue is if you're interested in something, pick it up for yourself and check it out. I think a lot of times people are pleasantly surprised when something doesn't do well with critics and they actually pick it up and enjoy it and are a little bit confused or concerned about why someone had such a different opinion. And I think that is a key word to sort of emphasize here, opinion. Everybody's got different opinions or takes on things. But I do think that that can cause some confusion, especially when you pick up something and you really like it and you don't really understand why someone else couldn't find any kind of worth or merit to it. So I'd like to propose that let's just bypass the number scores. Read the review, right? Watch the video review, watch the content as you want to in a product that you're interested in or a piece of media that you want to learn more about, but don't get fixated on the score. I think when someone's interested in something and wants to check it out, it's worth sort of taking a leap of faith. And again, I understand that people have limited funds. You can't just shell out money for things blindly, not knowing anything about how well it achieves what it hopes to achieve, whether it's a game, a movie, or whatever it may be. But I do think that there is a disconnect, a growing disconnect between the way an audience might feel about something and the way professional critics might feel about it. And we've seen this in things like Star Wars recently, the most recent Disney films that have come out, whether it was The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker or whatever it may have been. I'm not even going to get into The Last of Us Part 2, which I personally really enjoyed. I didn't love every story beat that was part of that, but clearly there was a discrepancy there between the way the audience felt about the game, or at least a lot of the audience felt about the game, and the way critics felt about it. Again, I actually liked it a lot. I thought it was a good game, but this is just another example of that disconnect, that growing disconnect that seems to be there. So my argument going forward is, try to look at what the reviewer has to say about a piece of media and don't get hung up on the number that's attached to it. I've pre-ordered Mario 3D World. I loved it on the Wii U. I'm sure I'm going to love it on the Switch. I'm really more interested in Bowser's Fury, which is sort of that add-on game, and it looks like it is actually a full game that's attached to Mario 3D World for the Switch, and so I'm hoping to do a review of that once I've got a chance to sort of go through it and play it for a bit and sort of form my opinions on it. But what I'm going to say then is that when I review it, I'm not going to give a number score to it. I'm not going to attach a number to that. I'm just going to sort of offer my general take on it and let people sort of discern from that what they will. But I think that, thinking about reviews from that perspective and maybe starting to walk away from number scores actually might benefit a lot of people moving forward. So that's just my take on, number scores for reviews. This is obviously a lot of me sort of rambling about this, but when I saw how people responded to what IGN had to say about Mario 3D World, it just sort of represented yet again sort of that growing disconnect that I think is there a lot of times between audiences and critics, and number scores that people tend to get stuck on when trying to make some decisions about products that they want to check out. So let me know what you think about this. Do you think number scores are a good thing? Should we eliminate them altogether? Is there a way to sort of maybe scale them back or pare them back a little bit so that they've got more of kind of a proper place in the review process? I'd love to hear your opinions. And as always, thanks so much for watching.